Do you talk about gear usage, anything like that?
I don't talk about it much, but I mean, it's not because it's like for me and my brand, and you look at my whole sort of media of everything, it's just I've never been kind of asked the questions. When I've done seminars and stuff, you know, you're going to have guys who want to hear what they want to hear.
Of course.
And the truth of the matter is, you know, I went through a sport where I had a weight cut. I had to make a class. Yeah. So, you know, I never had the ability to have an incredible off season. And if I was to do more to get in shape, then I wouldn't make weight. And I was able to retire very healthy, you know, obviously injuries and stuff like that's aside the point. But, you know, I've had 2 kids whilst I've been prepping. I retired with all my fucking hair. Yeah. I mean, this means nothing or something, right, to somebody. But, you know, take it from me, and I have nothing to hide by saying this. Legitimately, I've done obviously more than the average gym goer, don't get me wrong, but I never used and abused my body. Thankfully, I had a coach, Neil Hill, who is known for being very conservative, and his sort of mindset was, if you can grow in ABC, why do you need X, Y, Z? Yeah. I
want to talk about that because I think it's really common. I think it's becoming less common now for people to like abuse it. I think it was our era that coming up. It was very rampant. I think for people to abuse it because of, like I said earlier, like the amount of readily like available information. And I just think it's important. And whenever we talk about topics like this, just because it's so interesting. Every time I talk to people who competed at a high level. I don't even know if I can reference Chris Bumstead right now, but I had a conversation with him.
Chris is my guy.
I had a conversation with him off camera, and every time I talk to people about this kind of stuff, who at a very high level, it's always the same thing. Like the idea of less is more, and it's interesting because back in the day, it was just like more is more is more, do more. Because there's a lot of guys that we know about who like have come and gone, and you know, rest in peace to all these people and all these souls, man. Like it's not the most healthy sport, right? But I just think it's important for people to hear that, like, you know, I'm not encouraging anyone to go do this, or if it's in your, you know, your life path, then it is, and there's no really way around it. But that's the thing I realized over time too, is like people get so caught up in that idea of, if this got me this, then like this much will get me this much. Yeah. And it's just not that way. It just doesn't work that way. And then you also like, you have the compounding risk that comes with it as well. There's just like, are you willing to continue down that road, like to go further? So, I just wanted to just talk about it a little bit because it's obviously a very relevant topic in it, and it's not like we can just like avoid. It's like I feel like at this point we're doing a disservice to people to just completely avoid those conversations. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially because on the internet now, like it's so like talked about, and also too like there seems to be, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know how much social media you watch, but even for time it just got popularized, like the trend and steroids and all this. This shit is so like it's like it's popular. And like, I hope there's kids who watch this who just understand that what a serious decision that is and how it will affect the rest of your life forever.
I mean, you're talking about the now, not the future. You're going to look great, I'm sure. I mean, anybody young that makes the decision to go that route. Right. First of all, whatever they do, they are going to respond. But I mean, you mentioned it, right? The trend aspect of things, I mean, holy shit, there's people joining the gym and talking about taking that stuff. Yeah. I didn't even use that until fucking 4 weeks out for my show. And that's the God's honest truth. I mean, there was no reason for me to use it in the off season, for obvious reasons. I had to make a weight cut. And that's kind of like the cherry on the cake. But for somebody now just to look good in the gym, there's so many detrimental side effects.
I know people do it all the time.
Unbelievable. Like, you can forget fucking kids, I'll be honest with you, if you're running this for like day in, day out for years and years and years. But again, listen, everybody's got to live their life.
Of course.
And unfortunately, you know, mistakes will be learned as the years have gone on. You've got, mistakes that you've learned from that made you better. As have I. I talk very openly about my mistakes on my podcast. It's made me the person I am. It's made me a better person. Every fall has made me, you know, a better individual, a better dad, a better whatever, fill in the gaps. But in terms of the supplementation that some of these guys are taking, you start off with that, that's not going to make you a better bodybuilder. Yeah. It's actually going to be a detriment to you because you are going to destroy your receptors. And then when you go, it's like, okay, well, no, I'm not growing, so now I have to take more. And that's the mentality. You were talking about, like, you know, more is better. It's not. It's the glass. The glass gets full, then there's nowhere else to go, you know. Yeah. And then
at the same time too, the side effects, right? Like, you don't know how, like, if you made a soup, this is a good analogy, you made a soup and you just put a bunch of shit in it because so-and-so said this was a good idea, and then you don't know which one is causing what.
That's true.
It's like, so then it's like, because like now you can't just go, oh, this is all causing it. It's like, if you were able to know, okay, this affected me this way, this affected me that way, then you'd be able to go take this out. Okay, now this makes sense, instead of just like, well, what the fuck's going on? Well, and a lot of people find themselves like that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's one of the reasons when I would prep with my coach, you know, we knew exactly what we were doing because, you know, unfortunately there is a lot of fake stuff out there. Yeah. So adding that into the mix, and I have an end goal to compete, to be the best in the world, by adding things in periodically. You knew what was working, what wasn't working, but then in the off season, you're eating everything, you're drinking everything. And a lot of these guys train their fucking ass off Monday to Friday, and then chase pussy and at the clubs on the weekend.
Insane.
And they're doing stacks that some guys are doing pre-contest, which blows my mind. Obviously, now the trending word that I see everywhere is trend.
It's
and
insane.
It blows my mind. It just blows my mind. And that's so now mainstream that guys are coming up to me, you know, no names mentioned, because, you know, like you have a lot of celebrities in your gym. I have a lot of celebrities in my gym. And they're like, hey, what do you think about this trend stuff?
It's like, dude, what the fuck,
bro? It's like, bro, stay away from that shit.
Trend is like the steroids on steroids. It's like, if you had testosterone as like a 1, trend's like a fucking 100.
I know.
It's like, what is, it's not like a joke.
It's much better, right? I'm like, the fuck, who told you this?
But that's what I'm saying. That's why this has to be discussed, because like, there's a lot of kids, I don't think they don't understand it at all. No. They just see it and they go, you know, it's I'm hearing it, so it's like, it's acceptable. It becomes more accepted.
But have you seen half these guys who are taking it,
bro? But that's the thing. It's not even that. Like, that's the problem, right? But the problem is also people just hearing it and they go, I always ask people, they'll talk to me about that kind of stuff, right? Okay. And I'll say, well, how long have you been training for? They'll be like, 6 months.
Oh my God.
A year. And I'm like, dude, you don't do you even drink enough water? Do you even get enough sleep? Do you even do you even eat enough food? Like, you don't I guarantee you all those other things are fucked, and you're considering something that's changing the rest of your life. And it's like, for what? You know, like, you have to go farther in it. But I just think it's an interesting thing.